I was reading a Bible plan on the Bible app, and it was centered around renewing your mind. And there was a line that stuck out to me. And basically, what it said was that your conscious brain sets goals, but it's your subconscious that achieves them. And it kind of rocked me a little bit. It actually shocked me because it's contrary to what we're always told. It's from what you hear in the manosphere, from what you hear about people who are successful. It's ignore your feelings. Like keep doing the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it, and all of that. And that is good. Like it's correct for the most part. But then when I read that sentence, it was kind of like, well, of course, right? Feelings are really difficult to overcome. When you plan to wake up early the next morning and like get to work or go hit the gym or whatever it is, but then that time comes and you just hit the snooze button. It's you felt it. You've been in that situation before, right? It's very difficult to overcome your feelings, your hormones, and all of that. And if you've tried to like do the discipline thing and overcome your feelings, you realize just it is really difficult. And what I learned just reading that line, it was just obvious to me. I was like, oh, well, of course, right? It's difficult to overcome your feelings. I started learning like you need to put emphasis on your subconscious. You need to get it to work for you. You need to work with it, right? Because until you do that, any hard work you're doing is just going to feel like you're swimming upstream, right? It's going to feel like you're swimming upstream like the Nile River, right? The current is coming this way and you're just trying to push against it. And I don't know if you know about the Nile River, but you're not winning that fight. And it's the same thing with your brain. Like even if you do manage to do it over a period of time, eventually you're going to succumb to it because every single day you're pushing against that. You need to get it to work for you. It shouldn't feel like an uphill battle every single day. Now it shouldn't be easy every single day, but you should still get your limbic brain, right, which is your subconscious brain. You should still get that to work with you, right? So how are we going to do that, right? I've pinpointed 2 things you need to do, and the first one is something I've said all the time. You've heard it from tons of other people before, but it still remains true. Find your why. If you're watching this and you still haven't found your why, I want you after this video to sit down and figure out your why. However long it takes you need to figure it out, right? Because I don't know how I can convince you to figure out your why, but you're not getting anywhere if you don't figure out your why. It's your compass. Think of it as your compass, right? If you're on the ship, right, and you're trying to travel somewhere and you're on the sea, you're on the open sea. Like the sea is massive, right? And I want you to think of the sea as life. Life is massive. There's so many different directions, so many different distractions that are just pulling your attention away. You need to have a compass, right? So every time you start veering away, you follow the compass, it like sets you back. You need to set it back. If you're supposed to be going north and then the compass shows you like going a little bit like northwest, right? Again, if you're traveling a long distance like on the sea, just like 1 degree off. I'm sure you've seen like the analogies even on like planes, like things like that, where if you start off in like Washington DC and you were supposed to like go to New York or whatever it is, if you go like one degree off, you end up in a completely different state, right? And that's exactly what it's like with life. Like if you don't have a compass to carry on like steering you back to where you're going, you're gonna find yourself lost. You're gonna be like 5 years from now and you're gonna be like, what the flip, this is not where I want to be. And that's because you didn't figure out your why. You need to figure out your why. It's like a compass that just keeps setting you back in the direction where you need to go, and you need to keep reviewing that every so often, however often you want to do it. But you need to figure out your why, right? Then the second one, right, is going to be centered around telling your limbic brain, like consistently, like shouting affirmations at it, basically, like just telling yourself every single day, right? I made a video, the one I probably posted it yesterday. It's about motivation comes after the action, right? You need to keep doing that. You need to keep telling your brain just things like that, because it's easy to forget when your feelings are just flooded everywhere. If you need to write it down. Same with your why. Like you write it down, it's easy to forget it. You need to write it down and keep reminding yourself. Like I want you to, and this is something I'm doing now, I want you to build your life and a system around getting your limbic brain to work for you, right? So simple things like just sleeping enough, right? Building a consistent routine. You wake up and you sleep at the same time every single day, right? You do the workout at the same time at the same place every single day, right? Or 5 or 6 days a week. But you get what I mean. You want things to be consistent. Those are things you can do to get your limbic brain to work for you, right? Just remove the resistance between what you want to do, between where you are and getting yourself to what you want to do, right? So an example of what I'm trying to say, I absolutely butchered that. An example of what I'm trying to get you to say is like sleeping in your gym clothes, for example, the night before, right? When you wake up, you don't have to like go look for your gym clothes and everything. You're just you're making it easier, right? And this is something I've learned in Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's one of those things, like, just remove the obstacles between you and the good habits, and also vice versa. You can increase the obstacles between you and the bad habits, right? You just want to make it easier for your brain, because your brain is, it's kind of like a child, like that thing, one of Jordan Peterson's rules, where he says you should treat yourself like someone you're responsible for, right? Don't be like, oh, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow, I'm gonna force myself to do it. Like, that's just not gonna happen. If that was someone you're responsible for, you're gonna, talk to them, convince them. You want to get them on board with you, right? And then you want to make things easy for them. You want to make things as easy for them as possible to get them to start doing that, right? If you want someone to go to the gym, you want to get them fit, or whatever it is, as your child, you want to make it as easy as possible for them to get to the gym, right? Remove obstacles between them and getting to the gym. And that's what I want you to do with all your things. And I want you to set up your life in this way, right? This also comes down to not watching content all the time and frying your brain, because that creates a massive obstacle between you sitting down and, like, doing boring work, right? So you want to change your environment and just your life. I want you to think of it like a system. You're creating a system that's going to get your limbic brain to work for you. If you focus on this, it should help you. It should help you, like, actually start doing the things, instead of swimming upstream every single day, trying to force yourself to do things that you really don't feel like doing. Try and find a way to get your limbic brain to work for you, so it feels like you're not swimming upstream. Again, it's not going to be easy, but it's not going to be as difficult as it is when you're trying to fight against it. Okay. Make sure you hit subscribe to join the Self-Improvement Brotherhood, and until next time, I'll see you boys.